Host Rob Morris of NPR News That Matters. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. It's Monday. We got a lot going on. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, I guess a video's worth a lot more. And I'm sorry to say I don't have the video to share with you tonight because we are having some technical difficulties in the studio with video. But in the meantime, there was an anti-ICE protest. I mean, imagine you're sitting in church on a Sunday morning here in Mobile or anywhere in the continental USA, and people bust into your church while you're worshiping God and starts yelling ICE out, protesting ICE, and attacking the pastor because his last name happens to be the same name as an ICE man, ICE agent, who's also a pastor in some church somewhere. But they got the wrong guy. And they bust into the church before children are crying. They don't know what's going on. They don't know if somebody's going to get shot. The whole congregation's like freaking out. So, I mean, it's crazy that's going on in Minnesota. Now, this happened in St. Paul, Minnesota yesterday. Church is to be a true sanctimonious place used to worship God. That's the way I was raised, Sunday school and church, growing up here in Mobile. And that's just the way I see it. And them busting into a church is not showing any kind of love whatsoever. It's showing bad behavior. Now, on the phone, we have Mr. Charles Wyckoff, who wears many hats in his community. He also wears a hat as a minister at Bethel Church. We have him on the phone. Charles, are you there?
Yes, sir. We are here.
Well, Charles, tell us what you think about what happened in St. Paul, Minnesota during church yesterday.
Well, I didn't see all of the whole story. Saw I call it the headlines mostly today, and I didn't realize that they had, I'm going to call it, hit the wrong church because they had the wrong name or the wrong person, but they shouldn't have even been going to the church had they had the right name. Right. And I think that what we're seeing nowadays, that's a lot of what our world is turning into. It wouldn't matter if it was a church or courthouse or what. I mean, people disrespect, and I think they're disrespecting church nowadays more than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I see it too. What is our country coming to, Charles, with this kind of thing going on?
Well, I mean, it's one of the things that we've been teaching from the Bible for a long time. As we get closer, what the Bible teaches, it calls the end times.
Lord. That
people, this prophesied from the Bible for thousands of years now, that as we get closer to the end of time, that men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of pleasure, disrespectful, disobedient. And our country right now is in pretty dire straits. We have all these politicians that take an oath to protect and defend our Constitution. Yes. And right now we have a country that's being overrun by those who have no respect for our Constitution. And if we're seeing something like this, which has been going on for a little while, longer than just now, but disrespect for church. And again, it's just part of what we're going to have to deal with as we move forward in time, I guess.
Disregard for the Constitution, disregard for God. I mean, my goodness. The more I hear about it, maybe Iran is right. We might be the big Satan, but I don't think it's the whole country. It's a lunatic fringe, I believe, Charles, that are causing all these troubles. And they have no clue what they're really protesting about. They just got nothing else to do, and they don't have God in their life or anything solid like love in their life.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, that's the whole problem, is that you have either love or hate. There really is no in between.
No.
And once it really doesn't take but one person with hate to destroy a lot of people, around their life, and they may just hate themselves. And again, like I said, it just seems to be getting worse and worse as time goes on. And I really can't imagine something like that happening, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15
Right.
years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Now it's becoming, I hate to say normal, but it's now becoming something that we see regular. And I mean, the bad thing that we see right now is we got, you say it's a fringe. Yeah, there is a fringe that does the radical stuff, but really our country is divided almost down the middle. I mean, it's really close to being, divided, 50-50. But again, if we have a country that has elected officials that are not doing their job, I mean, they wanted that position to, be in politics or whatever, but then they don't do their job. I mean, it's like the deal me and you talked about here a while back with gun control and all. I mean, our Constitution says, you have the right to keep and bear arms, and we have a lot of our politicians would consider themselves to be conservative. They call themselves conservative, and then they'll go against that constitutional right any way they can. They'll say, well, it says that, but you got to do something. Well, the thing that you got to do is, honor your oath to the Constitution and deal with the problem. The problem's not honest, law-abiding citizens. The problem's not firearms. The problem's not church. The problem is those that are destroying the world around us.
It's their thinking, I think, Charlie. I mean, the politicians, they talk out of the side of their mouth. They don't want to be politicians, but they twist the whole thing around to fit their demographics and their constituency wherever they're at. And it's mainly these northern cities or the West Coast, the East Coast, the elites, where all this is happening. They're like trying to take over cities, one city at a time, to destroy the Constitution and destroy our way of life.
Right.
So, wow. Well, I mean, it's one thing that's going on, and it's probably going to continue going on. My goodness, all I can think to say, Charlie, is everybody pray for our country.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And a lot of the churches around here, from what I can tell, now I'm not directly in contact with anybody in particular, but I see it kind of on news, little feeds that are around us, that a lot of churches are already preparing for these type things, active shooters and things like that. So, like I said, it's been coming on for a good long while now, and I would say this to anybody that would be interested in listening to it, that you need to just be safe, keep your head, pay attention to what's going on around you, watch your surroundings, things like that. In a case like this, what I saw, the little bit that I saw right now is, I'd be pressing charges for, these people that call it trespassing or whatever. I mean, there's some things you got to do to make it a trespassing issue, but if you ask them to leave and they don't leave, then it becomes a trespassing issue. Use the law.
You're right.
The bad thing is, in places like that, the law may not be in your favor. So,
true that.
Again, I mean, we're gonna. If you got judges, I mean, like I said, right now our political system is in turmoil. We got, like I said, politicians who've taken an oath to protect and defend, and they're not.
No.
And they need to be, and people tell me, well, we need to vote them out. Well, you can't vote people out. You have to replace them. And that's one of our big problems right now, is finding replacements that are any better than they are. I do know there's a lot of them out there. And one of the problems that we need to be paying attention to, and I think me and you talked about this the other night, we really need to be paying attention to how these guys have been voting in their past, or how they're, how they do their fundraising, campaign fundraising, things like that. I mean, if they're getting their money from special interest, well, you know who they owe.
Yes.
And if they've been voting, I mean, some of the guys that are in office right now, we've had some pretty heavy disagreements about where they stand on a particular issue. Well, if you compromise in one spot, I think you'll compromise in any spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My goodness gracious. Well, you know, the story goes on, the beat goes on. Charlie, I want to thank you for your time, for coming and joining me on the show tonight. We got a whole lot of other things going on. Folks, be sure to watch Charles Wyckoff. He is a minister at the Bethel Church, and he broadcasts live on Facebook on Sundays at 11 a.m., 6 p.m., and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Be sure to check him out. In the meantime, Charlie, thank you for joining me. And we got the Indiana and Miami game going on tonight for the college football championship. You know, people are going to hate me for this, but I think Indiana deserves it. They have never won a national championship in basketball, yes, but not in football. So, you know, they beat us, and